Don't move. Turn your fantasy football into reality. Here's CJ.
Welcome back. How's your quarterback room? Oh boy. You know, it's a month and a half ago, I warned everyone, you included, that quarterbacks are going to be at a premium this year, and you're not going to be doing well. If you're searching for a quarterback in week 10 or 11, you're going to have an issue. Well, I never really thought that much about it afterwards. I did hear one comment by one reporter that last year something like 74 different quarterbacks started a game for an NFL team. I thought, I promised myself I would look into that. I didn't really believe it. But it came back to me the other day, and I thought, you know what? When Deshaun Watson announced that he's gone for the season, I did the math. 56. That's right, 56 quarterbacks have started for NFL teams this year. There are 7 teams that have used 3 starting quarterbacks already. Carson Wentz hasn't even played yet. 56. Can you believe that? 56 different quarterbacks, and we're in week 11. Wow, that's every week. If you want to look at it, 5 different starting quarterbacks. I don't know if that's the right math on that, but for your fantasy football team, what do you do? I mean, I've got one team where I have Josh Allen, I had Kyler Murray, I had Justin Fields. So I had to go to the waiver wire. I got Dobbs, then he got traded and cut and all that. Like, whoa, all of a sudden now he's relevant. He's doing very well. And I've got Minshew just as case of emergency. So all of a sudden in a 1 quarterback league, I've got like 5 quarterbacks. I don't anymore. I've gotten rid of a couple, but unbelievable how many quarterbacks are needed just to get through a single quarterback 10-team league. Imagine you're in a superflex. But here's the thing. In the superflex, there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that are getting 10 points. Now, 10 points for a superflex quarterback, that's not so good, right? Look at your bench, because you might have somebody sitting on the bench who gets 10 points. You don't have to go out and desperately trade to get a quarterback who's going to get you 10 points. You don't have to spend all your fab money. You don't have to disrupt your lineup by bringing in guys for 1 or 2 or 3 weeks if you've got extra players on the bench. And I keep talking about benches being important, but if you've got a tight end premium league and you've got 3 or 4 tight ends, a good tight end in your superflex spot this year especially is going to get more points than Gardner Minshew. Minshew could wind up with a 20 or 30 point game, but he hasn't been doing that. He's been just getting along at 10, 12, 14 points, and sometimes 6. And that's just an example. All through the league, there's only maybe 3 or 4 quarterbacks. Even Mahomes sometimes gets 12. He's not supposed to do that. So the quarterback play hasn't exactly been phenomenal. So don't get wrapped up in superflex of having to have that quarterback in that superflex spot. A tight end premium, put Travis Kelce there. Put Justin Jefferson there, Devontae Adams, the old Devontae Adams, put him there. Put a guy there that's just going to get you 15 points. In most cases, that's going to be the same as the quarterback you're going to use anyway. And with the superflex spot, instead of using a quarterback in that spot, if you're willing to use a tight end, wide receiver, running back, or someone else from your bench, that could be the last spot that you fill in your lineup at the end of the week. You could see how the weekend goes, what you need, and look down at your bench, and you could say, hey, any player I have on my bench can now play on Monday night, instead of it just being a running back spot or a wide receiver spot, or having used that super flex spot already, and now you're trying to find a wide receiver, a tight end, or a running back on Monday. That super flex spot is an extremely valuable spot if you use it correctly. So don't use it unless you have to, and at the end of the week, look down at your bench, see who you've got left, and then put that player in that spot. If you've got someone who's going to get you 10 or 15 points, fly at her. Now, there's situations, of course, where you're going to absolutely have to find somebody. But don't get all wrapped up in I have to have a quarterback in that spot, especially with the quarterback play. I mean, 56 quarterbacks already? That's a 5 and a 6. Ironically, that's how many points most quarterbacks get in these fantasy leagues. But and Carson Wentz hasn't played, and Locke hasn't played, and Lamar hasn't missed a game yet, so Huntley hasn't played. So could there be 70 or 80? Yeah. On my bench in a lot of my teams, I have Winston, I have Locke, I have Wentz, I have these guys just sitting there at the end of the bench just in case I need them. And all of a sudden I do, or I did. Quarterbacks are not scoring well in fantasy football this year anyway. So unless you've got the top 2, 3, or 4, or 5 guys, just don't be so stuck on that. Now, in one quarterback league, you've got to play a quarterback. 2 quarterback leagues, you've got to play 2, and it's a little bit different, right? But you already know that, and you already have the handcuff to your guy, right? Like if you have Murray, you have Toon. Even though Toon may not be that great, if you have Murray, you have Toon. It's better to use your own than be going looking. And the trade deadline's coming up, so what you got on your team is what you're going to have. And if there's nothing on waivers now, it ain't going to be there then, right? So just be smart about it. Quarterbacks are not doing well this year, and I'm going to guess that, yeah, we're probably going to hit 60, maybe even 70 quarterbacks used this season. Oh, that is fantasy football hell. It's worse than bye week hell.